Hello.
Hi, everyone.
So basically, I have here with me today on a joint webinar with Aviko, Anouk Wenting, Head of Sustainability in Aviko Global, and Stephen Lucy, I don't know if I had it right, I always made a mistake, in the Global Innovation team of Aviko. Hello,
Yeah,
both again.
thanks. Thanks.
So the webinar today will be about sustainability. We call it From Soil to Service. The reason why, let's say, you are expert in this field is because Aviko's been doing lots of research and putting lots of attention to this topic, sustainability. And today, from what I know and from what I've seen, you're going to explain to our chefs how you work on Aviko about sustainability and how they can implement in their kitchens as well. Um, do you want to say something short before I give the full screen to both of you?
No, I think we're ready to go, aren't we, Anu?
Okay.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share the screen.
Perfect. So I will close my camera before. I just want to say thank you to everyone who are joining. I see that we have people here from all over the world. Just for both of you to know, I see here Singapore, Puerto Rico, Iraq, Dubai, Italy, so Palestine, so everywhere. Expect questions from everywhere to the chefs. I motivate them to ask their questions in question and answer. We will talk in the end. We will do a discussion with all their questions. For the moment, Anouk, I leave the stage to you, and I'm in the background supporting with whatever you need. Good luck.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good evening from wherever you are dialing in. We are super excited to tell you more about what sustainability means for a potato processing company, Aviko, and what it actually means for sustainability in the kitchen. So that's why we're here together, Stephen and myself. So who are we? I start with myself, Anouk Wentik, a Dutch person with a background in business administration, so business background, but combining it with sustainability, I really think business can make an impact on the world. And with my sustainable business background, I work now for 15 years in the food sector to help companies to become more sustainable. And I'm super excited that this is with chefs because I actually wrote a sustainable cookbook. I always say it's a collector's item or a vintage item because like 12 years ago, I wrote a sustainable cookbook, and I'm really convinced every day everybody has to eat. Every day everybody's making a decision, and we can nudge those people at several moments during the day to choose for food that's actually more sustainable. And I'm convinced that when people know more about where their food is coming from, how it is produced, what choices are made during the process, that they actually also enjoy the food even more. So yeah, that's my personal story. I'm now working for 5 years as a head of sustainability for Aviko, working with farmers, with customers, and everything in between. So super excited to tell you more about that. But first, let's go to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Anouk. Good night. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stephen Losey, and I work within the global innovation team here at Aviko, and we're based here in the Netherlands. Prior to the Netherlands, I lived and worked as a chef in Germany, the UK, and the US. I'm a world certified master chef with World Chefs, and I'm a CEC with the ACF, the American Culinary Federation. You can follow me on LinkedIn and get, all the latest and greatest with all the innovative, really cool things that we're doing with potatoes, and follow our partnership activities with World Chefs on LinkedIn as well. So, thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in and listening to what we have to say about sustainability today. And hope you get something out of it. So, yeah, Anouk, over to you.
Yeah, so we'll tell more about what sustainability means for Aviko. I hope it inspires you with more background about sustainability in the food industry. And then indeed, after that more general story, Steve will talk more about what it means at the kitchen side. So let's get started. A bit more about Aviko. Aviko is a potato processing company. We do chilled and frozen potato products, of course, fries, and we also do potato granules and flakes. We have 11 production locations, and as we have a lot of participants all over the globe, it's good to know that we are mainly based in Western Europe. So we're dialing in from Netherlands, but also based in Belgium and in Germany, for example. And we also have some plants in China, in Asia. We are active in more than 110 countries, so probably also in your country where you're dialing in from. And we are founded in 1960, and actually we are a farmers organization. So more than 11,000 growers are actually owner of our mother company. So that's interesting to be aware of. Also, when you think about our sustainability plans, we really are there to cooperate with our farmers to make that transition to a more sustainable agricultural system. So I can talk more about Aviko and who we are, but maybe to get a bit of a feeling about what Aviko is, and also to give a bit of context to what sustainability means for a potato processing company, I'm going to share a short video with you.
People, cultures, tastes are different. That's what makes the world so interesting. But one thing is the same everywhere. The place we come together, at real tables, or something we have turned into a table. And it all starts here. With our passion for potatoes, our amazing growers, our knowledge, smart solutions, our inspiration, and of course, our 2,500 fantastic colleagues who bring Aviko to life. The table is where it all happens. Aviko wants to be a part of it. We bring joy to tables all over the world.
And talking about that joy, as it's our mission to bring joy to tables, as a head of sustainability, of course, I said it's not only about joy today, it's also about joy tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, etc., coming years in the future. So when we talk about joy, it's about joy today and tomorrow, but also joy for everyone. As our core product is potatoes, they're coming from the earth, from nature, and there should be joy also for planet Earth, but also for our growers as we're working with them, and the product is farmer-based. But also for our other suppliers, our employees, our customers, neighbors, etc. So it's really joy for everyone in the chain. So that is linked to our core. But what does that actually then mean? Before I talk about that, what is our sustainability story behind the fries? I want to give you a bit of flavor, and you're probably also very aware of it, that the food sector is in a transition. And sustainability is driving the worldwide agenda and also driving the worldwide food agenda. Maybe you know, or maybe you don't know, but the food sector is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gas emissions in the world. Actually, almost 25% of the CO2 emissions worldwide are related to food. We need to eat every day. And as food is your core business, you're aware that every day we make choices and we can make that impact. There are factors, external factors, having influence on that landscape. And you see a couple of things over here. One that we are struggling with here in Western Europe is the extreme weather conditions, as potatoes, are dependent on nature, and every season is different, every year is different. It really depends on the amount of weather, the amount of water, the temperatures. Do we have a dry season? Do we have a wet season? It really is impacting our product. And of course, we see already climate change happening on our hectares on the land. So that's really where we see the direct impact. But what we also see, for example, and you might see that happening, but at least in Western Europe, we see an increasing demand for plant-based foods. Also, an increasing amount of sustainability laws and regulations are coming into force from the EU, for example. So this is all driving forces. But what does sustainability then mean? If you think about a fries company, are we talking about this? When you ask AI, you get this kind of overviews, this kind of images. Innovation in a sustainable chain with green fries. I mean, fries will always stay yellow, I guess, but this is another picture of how it can look like. And of course, when we talk about sustainability in fries, it will never become something like this. I don't think it looks really tasty. Probably you don't think either. But what does it mean? So I'm going to share a short video with you, which gives a bit of a flavor of what sustainability means for a potato processing company like Aviko. There we go again.
We are Aviko, a global potato processing company. Together with everyone in our value chain, we work towards a future-proof sustainable chain. From farm to fork, we believe we can only bring joy to tables when there is joy for everyone: growers, suppliers, employees, customers, and our planet. We are a part of Royal Cozen, a strong cooperative of over 8,000 growers. At Cozen, we are dedicated to contributing to an enjoyable, nutritional, and circular world by unlocking the full potential of plants and people. Together, sustainability is at the heart of everything we do. We focus on growing potatoes in a future-proof way, reducing climate impact, and realizing plant-based solutions. Sustainability is a collective effort. We work with everyone in our value chain to reach our shared ambitions. Therefore, we want to strengthen the relationships with our growers, suppliers, partners, and customers all over the world so that we can seize opportunities together, mitigate risks, and ensure we improve our impact on the environment and society. Innovating sustainable products, anticipating on legislation, creating green and profitable businesses. From powerful partnerships working together, we will reach a future-proof sustainable chain.
Yeah, so I think it's very important when we talk about sustainability for Aviko, it's about the full chain. So that's one element was really highlighted in the video. We cannot longer talk about sustainability only about what you're doing internally within your own organization. It's really about what we do in the entire chain. So this requires us to work together and have connection and collaboration throughout that entire chain, from farm to fork or from soil to surface. So think about yourself. How do you already connect to producers, to farmers, maybe to customers, to tell the story behind the product? So we really need to open up. It's not only about doing good, it's also about doing good louder. So louder is about sharing and making it in common ground and really open up those conversations with other players in the chain to really make that impact. So that's one. And the other thing is about future-proof. You already heard that. It's really for our company and also for other food companies, you see it's becoming a license to operate. So you're out of business if you're no longer working on sustainability. So it's about future-proof. It's about the entire sustainability throughout the chain. And it's all, I always say, all good things come in three. So this is three pillars. When we talk about sustainability, we really highlighting three pillars. So probably also for other food companies, it's about, first of all, where's your product coming from? So it's about that farming side. It's about our growers that grow potatoes in a future-proof manner. that's not only about sustainable agricultural practices. This is also about resilience for our growers and having a profitable business model. That's one. On the other hand, again, for a lot of food companies, this is about reducing climate impact. It's about CO2 emissions. It's also about water and circularity and food waste. So that's a key element as well. And the third pillar is also not really surprising. Potato is our plant-based hero, we always say. So how can we use our potato as a plant-based alternative and also nudge together with customers, nudge our consumers into more plant-based products and plant-based diets. So this is also interesting one. Of course, everybody wants proud farmers, a healthy earth, and happy people when we talk about joy. But okay, that's really about where can you make a difference as a food company, and maybe also yourself, where can you really make the difference, focusing with sustainability on those elements where you really have that impact. And you can say, okay, this is where I, as a food company, can really contribute to a more sustainable world. A lot of talking, but what does that mean? Of course, we have a lot of KPIs for these pillars to make it very tangible, very practical, and also ambitious enough. We have these KPIs. I will not bother you with all those details, but I think in general, I would like to highlight that there are two elements I really see popping up as becoming increasingly important, and that's CO2 emissions. A lot of big companies worldwide commit now to the Paris Climate Agreement for CO2 reduction. Also in Asia, this is becoming booming. In Europe, so the big multinationals have similar CO2 reduction goals. So probably we will end up with products that have a lot of CO2 reduction in the coming years, which is great, of course. But what does that mean when you communicate to a consumer about CO2 reduction? Not really fancy, right? So we're going to dive into that in a minute or so. And the second one is there's a lot of focus on the agricultural side. We know we're in the transition. We do see consequences of climate change already happening. So what does that mean also to your products? And of course, food waste and plant-based is really important as well. So I'm not trying to be complete. Okay, what does that mean? Just quickly talk you through what we're doing. So very tangible. We have a future-proof farming program. We have more than 100 farmers already in the program. We have inspiration farms where we are piloting sustainable agricultural initiatives, and farmers get extra premium paid. They get an interest discount from banks. So we're working together with international banks, and they get even expert knowledge from agronomists to make that transition. So that's very interesting one, also to share with customers that story. Of course, our plants, we use a lot of energy to make our products. So we're really moving into that energy transition at the moment. Coal and gas, transforming that to e-boilers and heat pumps for CO2 reduction. So our CO2 reduction targets are in line with Paris Climate Agreement. And for example, what we're doing to also make that happen is we have water treatment as part of the production process. We have some water used, and that is treated and results into digest that is used for biogas. So we use the biogas in our production again. So that's a nice circular way. But also, of course, when we have residual flows, that is used for food again or for animal feed, so it stays in the food system. Of course, we're working on packaging to make it 100%. We're almost there, and we have 100% green purchased electricity. Something to be aware of. Of course, we have cold stores for our frozen products. We have cold stores with certificates that make it one of the most sustainable cold stores. For example, we have it full with solar energy, but we're also moving into elements like, frozen products are minus 18 degrees, but can we move, of course, safeguarding food safety and food quality, but can we move to minus 15? There are international studies, also with universities, but also with bigger food companies that show that actually for frozen food, it is still safe and still quality-wise okay, but it saves energy and cost as well. So these are also interesting things to dive into. What can we do about that? Transport is an important element. So working with electric trucks, those kind of things. What we are working on also as part of our collaboration in the chain, together with farmers, together with transport companies, as well as together with some catering companies here in the Netherlands, we're trying to create zero emission fries. And so actually the green fries, which I told you about at the beginning, can we really make that happening? And how does that work? That actually means other kinds of oil, or not even oil preparation. Oven preparation is more interesting then, because you don't need oil to prepare at consumption, and also you have less energy usage. So that is one interesting one for us. So these are things we're working on as well. Our palm oil that we use is 100% deforestation free, actually the lowest CO2 footprint, even lower than sunflower oil. This is also sometimes people not aware of, because palm oil has a slightly bad image, or you could say struggling with deforestation issues over the last years. We have a certificate that ensures we have deforestation-free palm oil with a lower carbon footprint than sunflower oil. Sunflower oil needs more land compared to palm oil, and therefore also more inputs like fertilizers and plant protection products, and therefore has a relatively higher carbon footprint in general. It depends, of course, what type of you use, but for us, with the type we use, that's lower. Maybe also interesting to know. And one other thing is like the plant-based alternatives I talked about. For example, the one for all content, and that I will show you on the next slide. We are trying to move more into offering a choice. We talked about my cookbook, but also nudging, trying to nudge, make it positive, more hybrids and plant-based alternatives. We even managed to create cheese, plant-based cheese out of potato products. So it's fully made out of potatoes, fully vegan actually. But we learned that when we promote it as vegan or green delight, it's actually not that well received compared to when we promote it as one for all. So what we did, on the upper right corner, you see our one for all gratin. It's called one for all because it's a gratin when you have consumers with allergy issues, or want to eat maybe more healthy or more sustainable. This is a gratin that actually serves it all. So we're not going to highlight it as not promote it too much as vegan or green delight. It works better when we promote other parts of it. And we also learned that equal pricing is very important to further encourage the adoption of plant-based products. So we're really moving into that area as well to promote stimulated food transition, but still offering a choice. We talked also about CO2, and I don't know if you're aware, but here you have an overview of some of the products, potatoes compared to, for example, pasta or rice, or compared to something you eat with fries, maybe like a burger, or even comparing it with chocolate here, but just to give you an overview of several products and what is the CO2 impact per kilogram of product. Will we end up with CO2 on the menus? That's the question. I don't know. I don't think it's that fancy, but what we do see in supermarkets here in Western Europe is that some supermarkets already have CO2 of the product printed on the product. We might end up with CO2 on menus, but for companies itself, it's very, very important to be aware of the CO2 of the product, because it says something, it's at least one indicator that says something about the environmental impacts. And what you see here is that, of course, we know that animal-based products have a much higher carbon footprint than plant-based products. So fries, for example, here is 2. So how does that division of the carbon footprint for fries looks like? That's why I want to ask you a question. So if you can please pop up the poll. What do you think is the biggest contributor of CO2 emissions of fries? Do you think that's in the cultivation part, so the farming I talked about? Do you think that's in the processing part, so the energy that is needed, for example, the energy and water that is needed to run the potato processing? Or do you think it's in transport? Or do you think it's at your kitchen preparation for consumption? Please vote. Actually, today in the Netherlands, it's election day, so we are voting today as well. But this is another voting. Let us see what's happening. I don't see any results, but I think you see it. So I see the majority, it's quite equally divided. I see the majority in processing Aviko, or maybe preparation. So exciting. Okay, I will show you. It works. Ah, there it goes. Now I see it on screen. Oh yeah. So 28% processing Aviko, 28% transport. Well, that's interesting, because I can show you. That's not really what's the biggest one. The biggest contributor is, guess what? For whole Aviko, when we look at the CO2 footprint, the biggest contributor is the preparation for consumption of our products. So that's actually at your side. Potato farming is 11. All the products that are needed to purchase is like 70%. It's related to palm oil, for example. And you also see that our emissions of our plant, and that's, of course, sorry, it's a bit technical, but the 9% and the 1% that you see in other colors, that's actually what's happening for processing part only. So that's quite small. So when you look at the emissions from farm to fork, or from soil to surface, total from cradle to grave, you will see that for preparation, it's quite significant. You will see farming is not that big, and you will see processing is kind of low compared to the total picture. You see that transport is also low. This is at Aviko total level. So for a food industry company, how does it look like? And it's a bit technical, I realize. So I will show you this one. This shows the carbon footprint of fries. And this is general, because there's difference between types of fries. I can tell you a bit later about that. But here you see that the impact at food service is really the largest. So this is a difference between a company carbon footprint and a product carbon footprint. But this overview is an overview of a product carbon footprint. Just the fries that end up on your plate. When you have a kilogram of fries, which is quite a lot, but on your plate, then 58% of that emissions is coming, so the 2 kilograms we talked about, is coming from preparation for consumption. Only when I saw your overview with transport, 28% of the participants thinking transport has a big impact. That's very limited. You see it over here. And of course, it depends. If we export to Asia from Europe, or the other way around, then the impact is slightly higher. So it's more like 7, 8, 9, 10%. But still, it's not that big as the food service impact. Processing and cultivation are the second and third contributor to the impact of fries. And this is just a general picture of fries. of course, it depends what kind of fries, and it depends how you prepare. So as I said, when you prepare in an oven, the impact is lower because you don't need oil, because oil has quite big impact, because all the efforts to create that oil from processing and also the cultivation part, the fertilizers used, etc. That's all in that environmental impact of oil, in that CO2 emissions. So that makes it quite high from an environmental impact point of view. So that's why when you prepare in a steam oven, it has a much lower environmental impact, in fact, not frying in the oil. And also when you use, for example, no gas, but you use electricity, you can profit from the green electricity mix that is used in your country. So when it's sunny, windy wind, and there's a lot of wind, then there's more green electricity available in the market. And then the impact is also lower than, for example, when you use gas. So this is really about the preparation part. You can also think about the product itself. So think about fries. When you have thicker fries, there's less fat absorption and less water evaporation. So actually that means that you have a positive impact on the environmental footprint, because it's more efficient, in fact. So you have more products compared to inputs that are needed to create the product. So thinner and longer fries, therefore, have actually a higher carbon footprint than thicker fries. Also, skin on. When you think about skin on fries, for example, they have better impact on the, or less negative impact on the environment than when we don't have skin on. So these are things you can think about. Of course, it's still personal decision what you do, but the impact, these are things you can influence or use to nudge your consumer into more sustainable product choices. And when we talk about more sustainable product choices, maybe this is also something to hand over then to you, Stephen.
Okay. Thanks, Anouk. Listen, good afternoon, everyone. Chefs, culinary professionals from around the world, thanks again for joining the call and hanging out with us for an hour. Really, it's a privilege to be with you today and to talk about something that really touches, every kitchen, every plate, and every customer, and that's sustainability. As chefs, we're not just creators of flavor, right? We're influencers as well of culture. We're guardians of tradition, and now more than ever, we're really as chefs leaders in sustainability. So today, I'm just going to share with you a few ways that we can embrace sustainability practices without compromising creativity, quality, or operational excellence, and from a chef's perspective, right? So the first thing you can do as a chef, really, when it comes to sustainability, is to start with sourcing your ingredients responsibly. Let's begin with the heart of every dish. It's the ingredients, right? So sourcing responsibly means choosing ingredients that are really good for the planet, good for people, and good for flavor. So, for example, let's put potatoes to the side for a minute. If you're purchasing seafood, for example, somebody mentioned it in the chat earlier, that's why I'm bringing it up. Buy it from credible suppliers. Look for certifications like the MSC or the Seafood Watch programs, and don't overlook bycatch or underutilized species. That's really important because they can be culinary gold for chefs, right? So now let's kind of touch on seasonal produce. It's a simple but really powerful choice when it comes to sustainability. So first, it's better for the environment, right? And I'm talking about fruits and vegetables that are in season. It's better for the environment. Seasonal produce is really normally often grown locally, which means several things. It's It lowers the carbon footprint, so it's less transport, less refrigeration, that sort of thing. It's fewer inputs, so you're using less water, it's less energy, and it's fewer chemicals. But it also supports biodiversity. So rotating crops really helps maintain soil health and encourages a real diverse ecosystems. Secondly, it offers really superior flavor and nutrition. So seasonal fruits and vegetables are harvested really normally at their natural peak, and it gives you really better taste, texture, aromas, a much higher nutritional value. So more vitamins and minerals compared to sort of out of season produce that's been stored or shipped, long distances. But really, right, as a chef, there's nothing better when the strawberry season really is at full swing, yeah, and you can smell the strawberries. And when chanterelle mushrooms or white asparagus make their appearance, short appearances, right, in Europe, that's a fantastic part of the time, really good seasonal produce, and use that stuff. Third, really, it's cost effective, right? So when supply is high, prices drop. Seasonal produce is more affordable and it lasts longer, and it reduces spoilage and waste. Fourth, it supports local farmers and communities. So buying nearby really, in this sense, it keeps money in the community. It encourages sustainable farming practices. Um, and finally, really, it inspires culinary creativity, right? Seasonal changes push us as chefs to refresh menus, explore new ingredients, and to be able to tell compelling food stories. It brings authenticity, connecting our customers and diners to the rhythm of the land, right? So really, it's a fantastic thing to use seasonal fruit and veg in your menus and in your kitchens. So, as Anouk mentioned, Avico's sustainability strategy is really, and she mentioned it. I'll just have a quick review on the three pillars because it's quite important. And it's the proud farmers. So we, as a company, we're supporting responsible art agriculture. It's the happy earth. So promoting sort of a circularity and reducing environmental impact in our processes, and it's happy people. So it's ensuring joy and fairness across the entire chain. Transparency builds trust. Circularity builds a lot of resilience. And when you use our products, you're not just buying potatoes, but you're really investing in a system that values people and the planet. So that's something really to bear in mind. The third thing that I want to touch on that's close to everyone's hearts, because if you work in kitchens, and especially big kitchens, you've seen this a lot, and that's wastage, right? So food waste, it really is a global issue, but chefs, we are really uniquely equipped to tackle it creatively, right? So, for example, just some quick ones. Use whole ingredients, so things like your carrot tops for pesto, beet greens in salads, take your citrus peels and use them in syrups. You can get really creative with leftovers, so turning trimmings into broth, sauces, or snacks. Um, Staff canteens. Practice small, but you know what I'm talking about. Practice smart portioning. So, design menus that really satisfy without excess. So, try to use data to track waste and adjust it. Look at your portion sizes, that kind of thing. And then really, especially for exec chefs out there, it's forecasting, right? Forecasting your covers. This way you can really ensure you have enough for service, but at the same time, um, not over prepping and not over preparing and end up chilling down loads of food or worse, just throwing it out. So that's a really big one. And Avico's circular production, it reduces waste at the source, and that's something to really bear in mind. So we reuse our peels for energy or feed, the cow feed, animal feed, uh, optimizing every step of the process. So also products like our gratins, they provide pre-portioned servings. So it takes away the labor-intensive process of making gratins from scratch, which if you've made before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the bonus is you're not left with all the trimmings after you're shaping the gratins, you know? So you're making your gratins and you have all the trimmings. What do you do with that besides repurposing it, sticking in cheese on top and putting it back in the oven and serving it in the staff canteen, right? So we take that away for you. So plant forward cooking really, it shouldn't be a compromise. It's actually an opportunity. So it's where sustainability meets innovation. The first thing you can do is sort of elevate vegetables on your menus, right? Make them a star. Think, I don't know, roast celeriac steaks, right? Or beet tartare, or a really nice local mushroom ragu. Um, Fermentation is top of the trends at the moment, so use fermentation and preservation. It really adds depths and reduces wastage, certainly does. And explore alternative proteins. So things like your legumes, your mushrooms. Anouk mentioned it earlier, but the Aviko potato cheese, it's a plant-based cheese alternative made from potatoes. So look at these alternative proteins to help you with these opportunities. Um, Also save time and energy with smart sides. So things like our ready to use sides. So not just fries, but we also have mash, we have the gratins we've talked about. These products really help you reduce prep time and energy use. So maintain high quality and consistency, and focus on the part that we like to do as chefs, and that's the creative element of the dish. So I'll give you an example. We recently had a global chef council event, and this was really kind of a top subject, particularly a really top subject that was raised. So within our organization, we can provide you with a fantastic base product so that you can focus on other things, not only reducing energy levels and prep times and labor and but helping with your sustainability, but you're still able to put that chef touch on our products so that you're able to still finish it with your creative style. So that's something to really bear in mind. And all of this supports sustainability by minimizing your kitchen resources and also not just in labor and all that sort of thing, but your consumption as well. So while still delivering the premium results that you're putting through your kitchens. It delivers really at the end of the day flavor, texture, and sustainability. So all of that without any compromise. So sustainability also lives in how we run our kitchens, right? So efficiency is really key. And this is, if you're a chef, you know what I'm talking about. So not only does our products, really reduce the labor and save you time and ensure consistency, but we recently partnered with Rationale Ovens. So this certainly provides additional efficiencies. So as an exercise, let's do the poll. Let's find out how many of you actually have Rationale ovens in your kitchens. So let's put the poll up. So the question is, do you have a Rationale oven in your kitchen? Yes or no? And they're coming through. Vote now. Okay. The votes are still sort of coming through, but I can tell you we're at already 73%, 75%. It's going to 80%, back down to 75. So look, I'm going to end the poll. It's more than uh, three quarters of the group actually has a Rationale oven in their kitchen, which is very interesting. Um, Well, okay. So listen, Avico has just recently, we have collaboratively developed pre-tested oven settings with our products in Rational ovens. And really, the final outcome of that project is that you now, as chefs, you can have the opportunity to have these programs loaded into your ovens in your kitchens. So the advantage of having these things loaded are that you'll will instantly gain consistency, you'll reduce energy usage, you'll save money on oil, and the labor changing in the oil, that's also a big one, right? Changing the fryer oil, yeah, it's a big labor expense. It's the speed of service for larger events, and it takes away the pressure for cooks, really, who are in the kitchen doing 10 different tasks at once. So we have programs that are able to go into your ovens now that automatically uploads um, all our settings of our programs or of our products, and you can just carefree put it in the oven and push a button. So something to bear in mind. But together, Aviko and Rational help you guys cook smarter, faster, and greener. So sustainability really is worth a story worth telling, right? And your menu is your voice. So just some throwing out some things that for you to think about. Use terms like on your menus like locally sourced, farm fresh, seasonal harvest. Add icons to help your customers make informed decisions. Feature sustainability specials, so dishes that highlight surplus produce or upcycled ingredients. You can include short blurbs or footnotes that explain the sustainability behind each dish. Um, you can share how the dish reduces wastage or supports biodiversity. There's all sorts of things you can do with that. Design the menu to change with the seasons. Again, we go back to the season piece, but it lets guests know why, and it supports local ecosystems and ensures peak flavor of your menu items. You can also highlight these values on menus by, of course, you're welcome to name Aviko products as sustainable supplier, um, sharing stories of ingredients, of origins and farming practices, and using our organization for transparency because it will build trust with your customers. So another one quick last point, and then I'm going to hand it back over. But basically, be on the plate. Your kitchens can be really a model of sustainability as well. And we've all are guilty of this as chefs, right? But turn off lights and equipment when you're not using it. Um, Keep everything maintained. So check leaky faucets, have your dishwasher maintained. Implement a composting and recycling program to divert waste from landfills in your kitchens and really hold each other accountable on wastage, especially during prep times, right? It's also important to implement production sheets to ensure you're not overproducing and stuff gets wasted. Okay, look, chefs, we're innovators, we're leaders, and we have the power to shape a food system that nourishes both people and the planet. By choosing partners like us, for example, with Aviko, by embracing plant-forward creativity and by running efficient, thoughtful kitchens, we can certainly deliver culinary excellence and sustainability hand in hand. So I wish you all the very best. And thanks again for listening to what I had to say. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer those for you. So, Anouk?
Yeah, thank you. Nothing to add, Stephen.
Great.
Let's see. We have 10 minutes left for questions.
First of all, thank you both. It was interesting to follow you in this nice journey of Aviko and then how chefs can implement your findings and your solutions to their kitchens. I have a question here for Anouk, which say, thank you, Anouk. Great to discover your future farming program. Farmers usually rotate crops. And as I'm wondering how Aviko was supporting them through the rotation, so their crops can all be more sustainable and end up on a beautiful plate. So it's like a question, statement, kind of.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, rotation of crops. Also, Steve highlighted it. It's very important. So we are part of a bigger agricultural company. It's called COSEN. We do sugar beets and chicory roots as well. We're also now moving into fava beans, which is also a very sustainable source of protein as well. So what we support farmers is to indeed rotate, and as we have several companies within our bigger holding company, we also can support that farmers in good processing of those products and valorize that into the market. So I think that's a really main part of it. Yeah.
Okay. I have a chef who asked if we will receive the presentation and everything. I just want to inform them then tomorrow we're gonna send the recording in their email so they can have the presentation and also listen to your presentation itself. Doesn't say much unless you listen to what Anouk and Steve had to say, so just rewatch it in case you need to. Okay, any other question? I see a lot of thanks for both of you in the chat. I don't know if you had a bit of time you were occupied speaking, but if you
That's
have
always
the
nice to
chat, thank you for the event full of information. Thank you from all over the world. So I would like to wrap it up. Just an information for everyone. We have a second webinar that we're working on with Aviko around January. Steve, what's gonna happen? What are you baking?
What am I being? So look, we're going to do a webinar, another webinar. Aviko is going to do another webinar in January. Please tune in. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to talk about concept innovation. We're going to talk about some of our products. It's going to be a fantastic webinar. So please join us. This is in January. Register early once the information comes out, and you don't want to miss it, certainly.
Of course, it's gonna be beautiful. We'll start the year amazing. One last question: are Aviko products available in India? I don't know if you have this information, but
Yes.
okay, so they are. Okay, so
Yeah, they are. And if that individual needs a contact detail, then you can put them in touch with me, and I will give you a connection that you can contact to be able to speak to somebody.
Okay, I just put my email in the chat in case because it was anonymous. In case anyone have a question, please just write and I will connect you with Steve. We're waiting for you, Chef, next time. Yes, in January we will meet again. Thank you both. For all our participants here, I want to say that we are organizing a World Chefs Congress in Wales again, also in 2026. Until 31 of October, we have the early birds. Steve itself will be there in case you want to come and chat with him. But in general, it's going to be a beautiful program we're preparing for you. So as you see, a lot of news already for 2026. Thank you both. Thank you, Anouk, for being here and sharing your expertise. Thank you, Steve, for always being with us and
Thank you
connecting
for the
Aviko
invitation.
and chefs in a way that makes sense.